Everyone to midday, SuperTalk Mississippi. We are live at the Mississippi Trade Mart for the Mississippi Economic Council's annual Capital Day. And joining us now is Senator Josh Harkins. He represents District 20. That includes Rankin County. He is the chairperson of the all-important Senate Finance Committee. It is important.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you, Senator. Thanks for joining us. So, great crowd on hand today. The MEC does a great job.
Always bring a big crew to the Capitol, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's especially good, as we've been discussing on the program, when one of the few times, if not the only time, during the year that we get the lawmakers, state leaders, folks from the business community, the education community, all come together under one roof, so to speak. And I think the social interaction, honestly, as part of this is as important as anything.
It's important, and I when I gave some remarks to the group a little while ago, I told them, I appreciate them being here, and I appreciate their input, because the stuff that we do here year in, year out, that's where the rubber meets the road. They're the ones that have to live with the legislation, the policy we put forward, and that's where we find out, hey, this may not be working as well as we thought, or hey, here's an idea for policy to help make the environment better for us to prosper and grow. And that's ultimately what we want to do, is we want to make sure that the economic environment in our state is one that will help our businesses to grow and prosper and flourish and be successful.
Right, and they do a great job. And that we had Kathy Northington on earlier, the COO of the Mississippi. Here she comes, walking down the hall. Yeah. COO of the Mississippi Economic Council. We had Ryan Miller, and both seem to have a pretty high degree of focus. Ryan Miller, of course, with Accelerate Mississippi, on getting our workforce ready for the jobs that our employers are looking for.
Yeah, Ron's doing a great job, and there was a lot to unpack in this position, and kind of creating Accelerate and what they're trying to accomplish. And I think it takes partnerships. And when I was speaking to MEC a little while ago, I told them what we're doing is kind of like when you grew up and you went roller skating. They had a couple slow skate, and you had a couple out there, and everybody was having to look out for everybody else, and you're trying to manage, make sure your partner doesn't fall. Then all of a sudden the DJ tells you to switch directions, and you're going in a completely different direction. So it takes a lot of moving parts, but it takes a lot of different groups, a lot of different organizations to help this thing run and to be successful. And it's not just Accelerate, it's not just education, it's not just different agencies or whatever we're trying to accomplish. It's a collective group of all of them pulling in the same direction. I think we've got a lot of collaboration with our schools and our career coaches, and I met two today that just it was fascinating to me that I'd never really thought of. I knew from my background in construction, I've had guys that were doing a job that was really just a dead-end job, in the sense that there wasn't really a whole lot of promotion that was going to happen with it. But what they found out was they learned a trade, and they were able to kind of perfect that trade and do it well and make a great living. And she was telling me that not only that's the case, but you've got kids that are being held back by their parents, or they're being held back in the sense that their parents rely on them to do things, and these kids have to understand that they can go out and do things and be successful. And so there are a lot of challenges that and I'd never really heard that perspective. I've never thought about that, but there's a lot of different challenges that they encounter, and they're doing a great job. And I think that there's only the sky's the limit. That's going to be a big help to our industries and hiring people, because not everybody's fit to go to college, and everybody's going to go and do that, take that track. And there are a lot of jobs that are available for young men and women out of high school with some proper training, with a little bit of extra training that they can go and do and be very happy and productive members of society and have a good job.
The way Ryan described it, I thought was very appropriate. And there was a time, I think, when you and I were coming through, plan A was always go to college.
That was the minimum. Then you got to get a master's.
Right, exactly. And Ryan said, plan A may be going to work straight out of high school. It may be going to trade school. It could be going to community college and getting an education there. And he's so right. And I think we're seeing a lot of employers these days, Senator, that aren't as concerned about that degree, the linear degree that you achieve. They're not totally totally discounting it, but they got to fill their needs today.
Yeah.
They need people who can do the work today.
It's kind of like sports. Are you coachable? Will you show up?
Yeah.
Will you be dependable? Are you
soft skills?
Yeah, soft skills. It's kind of the basics. Just if you can check a few of the boxes, they can mold you in and fit you into a career that will offer success and opportunity. And so I think that's the job that Ryan is trying to tackle. And I think there are a lot of partners, like I said, not only our K through 12, but our community colleges, our universities, they all play a role in it.
No doubt. Well, one of our regular listeners, Paul in Meridian, just texted in, said there are no appliance technicians left. Paul is an appliance technician. And I know that based on the reports he provides on the text line here, he stays busy. As you can imagine. I know you're in that business as well.
Absolutely.
And deal with that. And I know we've had some needs at my house as well.
Yeah,
we need more.
Let your dishwasher washing machine go out and find out how bad it is. It's jobs like that. Small businesses that you can create by doing something like that is, that's where the opportunities lie. And Paul's exactly right. There's a shortage of a lot of trade skills that we need that can fill a void.
It's just a change in mindset. I think as much as anything that there's certainly no shame. In fact, there's I would say it's noble if you make the decision. If a person says, I don't think going to college is necessarily the right fit to me, and you decide to enter one of these sorts of vocations. Heck, we need that. And guess what? You can make pretty dang good money.
Really good money.
Doing that.
Really good money.
And not be in debt going to college.
No, absolutely not. And look, your friends are still in their third, fourth year of college, and you could be out making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year by then, 3 years into it. And, look, it's about opportunity. It's about having the skills that, what we're trying to do is prepare people to go into the workforce, to be successful, to have everything in front of them, the tools, everything should be there for them to go and be successful.
Yeah.
It's just going to take on behalf of the student, of the young man or young woman, the initiative to go and do it and seize the opportunity.
High demand, of course, for the STEM disciplines, science, technology, engineering. And we're starting to see more high schools, even at the K through 12 level, starting to implement programs focused on that.
Coding,
right.
There's all kind of stuff that's being put out there that wasn't available when I was in high school.
Yeah, and these folks are getting trained up so that they are ready to hit the workforce and be productive day one, which is what employers want.
Yeah.
They need to fill these jobs, and they need to fill them with people who can produce and do the work.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. So I'm glad to see so many of our schools taking that initiative. I just talked to Ryan Miller about the community at East Mississippi Community College, which is, I got to tell you, Senator, we ought to be doing that across the state.
Yeah. I think we're going to find, through the efforts of what Ryan and his group at Accelerate are doing, I think there's going to create a lot of opportunities to change some things up. The goalpost in education should always be moving. We should never just set a goal and reach it and think we've done it. We've done our job. When I got elected, I think our graduation rate was somewhere in the mid to low 70%, and now we're above the national average. We'd like to get to the national average. Well, we've exceeded that, and we're going to continue to strive to do better and better by these kids. But I think that's what I'm excited about with Ryan and his group at Accelerate. I think they're going to be bringing forward some ideas and some opportunities that will change the way we deliver education, just like everything in our society is changing, the way we deliver products. When I was in high school, I never would have thought that you would rent your car or your house out to some stranger on the computer. There's just things that have evolved that are opening doors that we never really thought were possible or thought that would be the way that we would go about living our day-to-day in our day-to-day world. But I think there are going to be some opportunities that'll be provided for by Ryan and some others, and I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to help, and I think it's going to prepare our students and our businesses to succeed. That's there's a benefit to what he's doing, and that's for our businesses to grow and flourish, and that's what we want here.
Well, it's a great point, because the private sector, clearly, as you just indicated, it's very dynamic and always evolving and always innovating. Well, the education world has to correspond with that. They got to match that. They got to be dynamic. They got to pivot. They got to change. They got to adjust as well. So All right, so you guys have been in session now. This would be day 3.
Day 3.
Day 3 already here and underway. We got about a minute left in this segment. Can you stay for another segment?
Sure.
Okay. We'll talk further about that. But we got, I know, a long slate of initiatives and priorities that you guys are going to be addressing, and we will discuss that on the other side of the break.
You're perched up on Main and Broadway here.
I know. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's all day. We've got Senator Josh Harkins, the senator from Rankin County. He chairs the Senate Finance Committee. We're stepping aside for a break on middays. We're at the Mississippi Trade Mart for the MEC Capital Day. Stay with us.